Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about my finished items and my current works in progress. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with my finished items. So first I have here my finished gorgeous grit blanket. Look at that stitch texture. This is one of my favorite stitches for more of a dense blanket. You can see it's super kind of heavy and cozy. It's perfect for my dog Nancy. You can see here, I'll give a little demonstration. She's currently sleeping with it there. So you can see that she quite likes it. And yeah, it's a free pattern on my blog. It's not too big. It took 4 balls. I did Style Craft 100% acrylic yarn, and then the border here is just it's all single crochet and then a row of half double crochet, and then in each corner just normally the 3 single crochet and the half double crochet. So super easy, super fast to do too. And yeah, this blanket, it was my first ever blanket pattern that I designed, and I just love it so much. And yeah, this is my second one, and maybe I'll make a third one. We'll see. Nancy would probably like that. But so pleasantcrochet.ca, the pattern for this is available, and that's just my blog. And I chose to do kind of the color scheme with a contrasting border on some of the stripes, and then some of them not, which kind of makes it look super neutral and cohesive. And of course I did my traditional style of just working a stripe until I finished the ball, and then going on to the next color, which leaves no ends to weave in, which is really great. Okay, and now I have a second finished blanket here. This is my Snuggly Scallops blanket that was a work in progress last time, but now it's all done. And this one's just beautiful. It's similar to a shell stitch, but the shells are a little less defined. So the scallop, as the stitch is called. And it's kind of a lavender color I chose. Lavender ice cream is kind of what I thought of when I was picking out the colors. And this is also a free pattern that's on my blog. This one worked up, the grit stitch blanket that I just showed, this one worked up faster because it's smaller. This one took a bit longer, and I used, for this one, Snuggly Wuggly from Michaels, the Loops and Thread brand. And I noticed that each, this also only used 4 balls, but each stripe is so much wider than the typical Style Craft that I'm used to. So that was interesting, because typically this would take about 6 stripes in the Style Craft, but this one, like I said, I only did the 4. But here we go. That's just super simple border. This was just 2 rounds of the half double crochet with I like to do a foundation single crochet one there, just to make the next rows easier to work, and it really tightens and neatens everything up. So that's a finished item. Yay! It's always so exciting having finished items to show. And I have another exciting thing. If you've seen my previous, these were my first tutorial videos, I made some granny squares. And this is the little samples that I made for that tutorial video. So this was the classic granny. Let's see if that focuses, maybe. There we go, the classic granny. And then this was just the solid granny square. So yeah, the tutorial, I filmed it and uploaded it to my channel, so you can watch that and follow through. They're super easy to make, and my idea is that I'm gonna string them together, make a quilt crochet kind of quilt. I bought the pattern by Mima Makes on Etsy, and I'm gonna try to follow that. She did a whole bunch of quilt blocks, all inspired by Anne of Green Gables. It looks perhaps a little bit out of my comfort zone with all the seaming, but maybe I will try a couple blocks and see how that goes. But it's so beautiful and so creative. So I've been busy practicing my granny squares, and now that I mastered it, I decided to film a tutorial to share with you. So yeah, check that out, and hopefully it's helpful. And what's exciting about these two colors, this kind of coral and tie-dye, is that this was actually with yarn that I had dyed myself. So you can see this kind of like Fruit Loops color, I call it, like kind of when you eat like Fruit Loops and then the leftover milk turns kind of a tie-dye color. It reminds me of that. But yeah, this was some yarn that I dyed myself, which that was super fun. This is just 100% merino, and then I used some acid dye, so I've been experimenting with that, and it turned out really pretty. I have a few skeins, and I'll do some more experimenting and then update you guys next time on the podcast with how that's going. But yeah, it's a lovely yarn, and definitely will make such a pretty blanket. And I love how this coral color had turned out, kind of like sea foam reef, perfect for summer. And yeah, that's all my finished item. No, it's not. I have another one that's really exciting. Let me get it. Now, as I said, I've been experimenting with the granny squares, and I finally learned how to do the granny join. So I made a little blankie, a little mini granny square blanket for Nancy. And this, I'm gonna post the kind of just details on what I did on my blog, but essentially I just did the classic granny. So this will be the same as I just showed you. It's the exact same as these. No, not that one, that's the solid granny, but these mini classic grannies, this is exactly the same, it's just a 7-round granny square. And then I finished it off with super simple, just granny stripe border. So I'll post all the information on my blog so that you guys can follow along and make one for your pet. But it's perfect size for her carrier, like kennel, and she loves it. It's super cozy but not too hot, which is good for summertime. And yeah, you can have fun kind of customizing the colors, and I'm hoping to make some more because it's such a good use of just scrap yarn, like the perfect scrap project. Because I just had little bits and bobs floating around in these colors. And yeah, I love how it turned out. It worked up so fast. Like you could maybe make it in a weekend if you really powered through it, for sure. But yeah, the method, learning how to do the join as you go, was actually much easier than I thought. I've been kind of procrastinating it for a while, but it was super easy and actually like really fun and so satisfying, getting the instant gratification of finishing a square and then like adding it on. And definitely the granny square projects, it is satisfying because you can finish a component of it each day. Like you can finish a square and say, okay, I finished that. Whereas the back and forth blankets, you're kind of working on it for weeks with not a finished item. So that was super fun. And then now let's go on to my works in progress. So the first thing I have here is another blanket. This is my shell stitch blanket that I'm making. This is a pattern that's on my blog too, Sandy Shells, and I'm making another one because I love this stitch so much. It's so relaxing, and I wanted to make one that's kind of more summer colors and summer themed, and I've been taking this outside in the yard, working on it in the sun over the long weekend, and it's so fast. So this is an entire ball of the Stylecraft DK yarn with 4mm hook I'm using, and it's about 45 inches wide, so a bit bigger than usual. And I like about like 45 to 50 inches wide. I just find that the most usable, kind of like small throw, but doesn't take like ages, so that's been fun. And then I'm transitioning into parchment color, and then I think I have some pinks and browns that I'll add to it, so I'm excited to see how this one comes along. And it's the perfect project to just sit down and you just get really into the stitch, and it definitely is my fastest blanket I have. The shell stitch it just works up so satisfying because it's 5 double crochet in each shell, so it adds a lot of thickness in each go, and you can, like, I find it really easy to get into a rhythm with it, so that's super fun. And if you like it, the pattern is already available on my blog, but I'll show you how this one turns out in these different colors and different size. And yeah, I love this one so much, and probably I'll just do the same, adding a foundation single crochet border and then maybe some half double crochet, or maybe I'll try to do the shell stitch repeated on this as the border. I'll have to see how it goes, but that's what I've been thinking, to add that addition to the pattern. And then the next thing I have that's pretty exciting is I'm learning how to knit. This has been on my to-do list for ages, and now I think I'm finally making some progress actually. So I just have this Karen Cakes self-striping yarn to practice with on some 4mm hooks I'm just using here. They're like 100 centimeters. Because my goal is to make knitted blankets, but right now I'm just practicing. So I threw on this practice, and you can see here the work that I've been doing. You can see that it looks really bad, and there's drop stitch there, drop stitch there, but I'm just learning, and I think that actually I'm finally getting the hang of it. I'm doing it for about a week now every day. And the pearls, definitely the purling could use some work. The knit stitch, I think I got that down. But the purling is still a bit of a challenge. I started with learning, and this yarn is so fun and super soft actually. This was just the Karen Skinny Cakes, but it's really nice to work with. So I'll have to pick up some more of this perhaps, because the self-striping effect is so fun. But I've been learning, I started out learning the English style, and now since I've changed to the continental style, which is definitely, I find, easier on my wrists, especially the knit stitch, because you just like kind of, you barely move your hands, so that's really fun because you can really zoom with that. I've been learning the Norwegian purl, and it's been going okay, not amazing. I've been definitely, my dropping stitches rate is quite high on the Norwegian purl, but I think that once I kind of get the hang of it in a couple weeks after some like muscle memory, that I'll be faster. But the knitting has definitely been pretty fun. My dream is to make like socks and garments and stuff with the knitting, because I love the fabric it creates. Crochet, I find, is heavier and denser often, whereas the knit fabrics are lighter and so much nicer for like wearing. And I think I could be totally wrong about this, but maybe the color work is a bit easier. So I think that what I'll do is do some practice with this once I feel like I get the tension down. You can see like there I've been experimenting with stockinette and garter. That I think that I'll try perhaps a scarf. I've been looking at the patterns by Pearl Soho on their website, and they have so many free patterns, and it looks like some of their scarves I have the materials to do, and that would be probably an easy first project. And then I have I think a sock pattern perhaps, so I can start learning some like increases and decreases. And I want to make some colorwork socks with like little animals, but that's definitely a future project, so we'll have to see how this goes. For now, I'm just playing around, learning my tensioning, how I like to hold my yarn, and all of that, and then I'll shift into doing a scarf and then a sock and then a sweater. I think that's the plan, but this is like a long-term thing because I'm not good at it yet, but hopefully I will get better at it. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on my knitting journey there. And I have one acquisition to share with you guys. I got a baby blanket book. It's right here behind me. So I got this is by Daisy Farm Crafts, and I have so many of her patterns saved. But it's a lovely book with all of these baby blankets. Like, look at that color work. I think that it'll be fun to learn how she did those different textures. I'll try to get, like, okay, here's a good photo. Like, look at how pretty that is. And her photography is beautiful. And it's just such a well done book and so easy to follow too for like beginner. And because a lot of these techniques are I've never done before, but she kind of lays it out super clearly, and especially the ones with color changing. Like I definitely want to learn the color changing and get better at that. So that's something that I think this book will help. And yeah, this Daisy Farm Crafts did this, and it's just 25 crochet baby blanket patterns. I just got that on Amazon. But I thought that was a nice book that I would share with you all. And I think that that is everything that I have today. I ordered some more Stylecraft yarn that's coming in the mail, and I get mine from Love Crafts, and then I ship it. I'm in Canada, but they do international shipping, so that should come hopefully. I'm really hoping next week because I ordered some lovely colors and I'm excited for those to come. But so hopefully I'll have a little acquisition segment of some yarn. So when that arrives, I'll keep you updated. But for now, I think I'm out of updates and works in progresses and all of that. So I will see you in the next podcast. Happy knitting and crocheting. Bye.